Hi guys, welcome to Reaper Part 2, where we're going to look at project design. Now just consider this project. Okay, we'll just get rid of that screen. Okay, so you can see this project has quite a large number of tracks across here, and when I play it, these come in. Then the drums come in and so on. So as you go across the project, various instruments come in at various points. Okay, so it's important to have a structure to how you design your projects, and this is basically a way you might want to do it. You can design your projects in any way you like, but this is just a suggested way you might consider doing it. So let's just double click in the track window to insert a new track. Okay, so we've got a blank track there, and then what we're going to do below that is insert our drum kit. Okay, so there it is. So what we're going to do is put an intro drum section in. So there you go, that's our drum intro. Now let's say we want different parts of the drum track on different tracks so we can apply effects at different points or whatever. So what we'll do is put virtual instrument in again, same drum kit. You can have it as many times as you like, it doesn't matter. And the window comes up again, and this time we're going to put in some grooves after that intro. Okay, so if I just do that, just get that window off there, right, okay, can take record off there. So if I play that now, the intro plays and then the main drum track plays. Okay, so we've basically got two drum tracks, and we could apply effects to either like compressors or EQs or whatever we want to apply. However, it's a good idea to structure your project in such a way that each instruments are grouped effectively. So what I would do is rename that top track as drums. Okay, now what's happening at the moment is each of these tracks are being sent to the master. That's by default in Reaper. So what we want to do is change that by right clicking on the I/O here and take off the master send. And then I'll do the same thing on that one. So if I played it now, you'll hear nothing, because those tracks are not being sent to the master anymore, so you're not going to get any sound. However, this top track would be. So what we can do is apply a send on here, which goes to track 1 drums. Apply a send on here, which goes to track 1 drums. Let's now call this, say, drum intro. And then call this one, so we double click it, there you go, drum main or main drums or whatever you want to call it. Whatever you call them is entirely up to you at the end of the day. But now when I play it, okay, so now they play, because what's happening is this track and this track are both being sent to this one, which does have the master send on. So when you right click on the I/O, the master send is on. So as long as that master send is on, then that top track is going to send the signal out to the master and you hear the music. These two will not. However, what that means is we could apply effects to either of these tracks, or we could apply an effect on this track which would affect both of those. So if we take that one step further, put in another blank track and then add below that, say, bass guitar. Okay, so let's just name that. So we'll call that bass guitar. So that's going to be our bass. So you can imagine if you were recording this live, you would record your bass guitarist onto here and your drummer onto these and so on. So what we'll do then is insert another virtual instrument. Let's go for dynamic guitars, which comes up looking like that. So we'll call that acoustic guitar. And then what we'll do is insert it again but this time, because we've already got acoustic guitar on a track, we'll change it to steel guitar. Okay, so now rename that steel guitar. Okay, so we now have 3 guitar tracks, and we would record our bass guitar on this one, acoustic guitar on that one, steel guitar on that one. Okay, so what I want to do now is name this track guitars, and we'll do the same thing as we did before. So we'll take off the master send on each of these tracks, leave it on the main one called guitars, and then we will send excuse me, we will send this one to guitars, we'll send that one to guitars, and we'll send that one to guitars. And if you look at the guitar track and look at receives, you can see that it is receiving from those 3 tracks: bass guitar, acoustic guitar, steel guitar. So you can confirm that all those sends are in fact going straight through there. So let's now just copy our MIDI item which will come up with the MIDI window looking something like that. What I'm going to do is just remove these first couple of notes. Don't really need those. Okay, so if I do edit, select all, go down to bass guitar and insert a new MIDI item, then if you hold down the Alt key on the PC, you can drag this out to meet that. We'll then copy that item down and paste it into both of these channels like that, except that pasted in the wrong place. Let's just cut that back out again. That was my fault because I didn't click down there. I want it there. Okay, there you go. So that's pasted that into there. So now if I go into this MIDI track, which again will open up the MIDI window, and what I haven't done is copied from here, which is what I meant to do. So I'll just go back into there, do edit, select all, and edit, copy, and that should set us up ready to just paste into there. Paste into there. And paste into there. Okay, So if I just scroll down a bit, so if you move your mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out on this window here and you can see what's going on. So what we could actually do is if I hit S on the, now this one hasn't lined up, you can see. Let's just go there. So if I hit S on the keyboard, that will split the items, and then I can just take that bit out and then drag this across to meet there. So now that should fit. So if I go to there, and if I hold down Shift and click there, that will select all 3 tracks. So now I'll hit S again to split the items at the cursor. Okay, cut that out, cut that out. Oops, didn't mean to cut that out. Let's go back. Undo cut. Okay, that looks fine. So what I actually wanted was, why has that not split there? Okay, it has now. That's fine. We'll split there. And we'll split there. That's fine. So they're all gone. So if I now go back and hit play, we should hear these 3 guitars will all play through this track and we should hear them all. Now we have got a bit of silence there. So what I'm going to do is split the items at the cursor again and remove these little silent bits at the beginning. Oh, looks like it's already split, so we can cut that out, and that's already split, we can cut that out. Okay, so that should be better. So there shouldn't be, well it will be until I move it back. Sorry, let's just move that back and that back and that back, move that back and that back, that back and that back. So you can see you can just move the items around however you wish. Okay, so you can hear the drums and the 3 guitars. Now, to prove that the guitars are in fact going through this channel, if we mute that channel like that, we shouldn't hear the guitars now. Okay, alternatively, we could solo that channel and then all we should hear is the guitars. There you go. So they are all going through that master guitar track. So that's how you can organise them. It would then be sensible to make these tracks into folders. So you do that by just clicking this icon here. Except I'll do it on the drums track. So if I click there, that has now put all these tracks into a folder called drums. But I don't want them all in there because I want the guitars separate. So you can then click the icon on the bottom one to make it the last one in the folder. So that tells it this track is the last one in the folder called drums. So what I'll now do is make that a folder which contains the guitars. So this is organising your project nicely into folders. So your drums are in one folder and your guitars in another. And you can imagine that it starts to get a bit difficult to see all the tracks. You can undock your mixer. So if you right click and undo the dock transport in main window, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I did it on transport and not mixer. Let me find the transport window. View transport, right, okay, why are you not showing me the transport window then? Okay, question is, how do I get it back now? Having undocked it, I now can't get it back. It's got to be there somewhere though. Ah, here it is, it's gone off to another monitor, that's what happened. Right, sorry, let's dock that transport window back. Okay, that's better. So what I meant to do I've got the mixer on, but I actually meant to click in the mixer window and take off dock mixer in Docker so that I could move the mixer off to another window and give myself a bit more room. But you still can't see a vast amount. So let's put the mixer back. What you can do is if you go to this icon here it says compacts the view of all tracks in this folder. So if you've done what you needed to do on your drum tracks, you say, right, okay, they're my drum tracks, you can compact it down. And that gives you more space to see more tracks in this window. And then you can scroll up and down using your mouse wheel to scroll up and down that window. So that helps you see a bit more and makes the folders even more useful in that way, if you like. Now the other thing you can do is color code stuff, which I also suggest because it makes it a lot easier to see what's what. So if I click on this track, hold down the shift key and click on that track, and then go track color and set tracks to custom color, and that will give you standard sort of color selection type thing in Windows. So let's go for a fairly darkish blue. Okay, so that has now set our drum tracks to blue, and hopefully you can see those items have gone blue. But we can go one step further than that. If we go to track and track icon, okay, you get all these icons come up. Now there's drums, so let's put drums on. So now you can see not only are these tracks coloured blue, but we can see that they're drum tracks instantly just by looking at that icon there. Now you might notice that actually the words don't show up very well on that blue. So I think what I might do is actually change the colour again and make it, let's say, try light blue. That's okay, we can read it on those, so that's fine, so you could go for that. Now let's do the same with guitars. So if I just hold down shift, click there, track colour, set tracks to custom colour. Oh, yellow will do for guitars. Okay, there we go, they've all gone yellow. You can see the icons have gone yellow over there as well. See all that? That's now all yellow. And then I'm going to set the icon on those tracks to be any guitar you like, really. Oh, let's just go for guitar, that will do. So there you go. So you've got color coding for your folders with your tracks in. So these two are drum tracks feeding into the drums track. These three are guitars feeding into the guitars track. They're color coded, and then they've got the icons on to show you what they are. So you can look and instantly see at a glance that that's obviously drums, that's guitars, and if you look down in the mixer, the color coding pulls through as well. So let's just play again. If I can find the transport window. The transport window's disappeared now. Okay, is it turned off? Transport. There we go, there's transport. So let's just hit play. If I bring up the mixer, you can see that we've got 3 blue tracks and 4 yellow guitar tracks, and they were all playing, which is what we would expect to happen. So I'm just going to undock the mixer for a second. Let's just move that, because we've got a bit of room at the moment. What I'll do is move it up so that you can see both, and there you go. Guitars are playing here, drums are playing here, they all play through the master channel. But the guitars play through the guitars channel, which then goes to the master channel, and the 2 drum ones go to the drums channel, which then goes to the master channel. So it's just some thoughts on how you might want to arrange your projects and make it easy for yourself to see exactly what's what using the color coding and the track icons. So next time we're going to actually start building this track, adding in more instruments, adding in some of the choral vocals, and see what we can put together and see you know, how we start building the project up, really. One thing before we do that, and actually we'll do it next time. We'll do it next time. It'd be easy to do it next time. Or we could do it now from there. Yeah. Okay, what I'll do is I'm just going to change the BPM, beats per minute, to 90. Okay, let's hit play now. Okay, so hopefully you could hear that was considerably slower. If I now set it to, say, 180, bearing in mind we started at 120, so this should be quite a bit faster. Sounds a little bit weird. So let's put this back to 120, where we started. But basically, this applies to your whole project when you do this. So there you go, and it's back to 120. Now, if you wanted to, say, do that only to one particular part, for instance, a drum intro, you can if you right click and go to item properties. You will get this box, and there's an option, playback rate. So if I set that to 1.5, just as an example, and now if I hit play, you should hear that that one item will play back faster than the rest of the project. There you go. So that one is playing back at a rate of, what, I said 1.5, didn't I? So 180, and the rest are playing at 120, because 1.5 will be 1.5 times 120, which is 180. So that's how you can set your BPM, and you can set it for individual items or for the whole project down here. So next time we'll continue building the project. So hope some of that's useful to you. Might want to use some of that color coding and icons in your projects, and I'll see you next time when we'll go a bit further. Take care. Bye guys.